Welcome you all. So now we'll start with the sewage treatment. So as you know, sewage is nothing but this is a waste from kitchen, laundries, bathroom, even laboratories and industries also. So the domestic sewage contains heavy load of BOD, pathogens, bacteria, color, odor, and bad smell even. Okay, so the sewage water is discharged into water bodies and it leads to deficiency of dissolved oxygen, and even it sometimes it leads to death also. Okay, so the pathogen are this bacteria are causing waterborne diseases. Okay, so now we'll study this sewage treatment. In this sewage treatment, we have three methods, that is primary treatment or mechanical, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. So this is very important for the exam. So we'll discuss one by one. Okay, first, primary treatment. In this primary treatment, again we have some steps like first step is screening. So in this screening, it is a physical process of removing a large suspended or floating matters in the sewage. We can use here bar screens and mesh screens also, which retains the matter while it allows the sewage water to pass through them. By this method, we can remove the impurities which are present in this sewage. Okay, so next method is slit and grate removal. So in this method, this is done by passing through grit chambers where we can reduce the velocity of the sewage, and slit and grit being heavier, they settle down at the bottom. By this method we can remove the sewage in this case. The third one is oil and grease removal. So oil and grease are removed by passing through skimming tanks. Here some compressed air is blown through the sewage water and converting it into soapy mixture, and that is lifted to surface. The floating mixture is skimmed off, thus we can remove oil and grease from the sewage. So next is sedimentation. As sedimentation we know that is the process of removing suspended impurities by allowing the water to settle at the bottom in a container. Okay, so in this case, in this method, due to gravitation force, almost all the suspended particles will settle down and we can get the clear effluent. Okay, so that is sedimentation. So next is coagulation. Coagulation process is nothing but that is the removal of colloidal particles from the water by addition of certain chemicals, that is known as coagulation. So you might have observed that is in some of the villages where we are going to collect the river water, that container, in that container we are putting some potash alum, that is patika we can call, that is nothing but alum which absorbs all the dust particles due to gravitation after settling for few hours. Okay, that is nothing but alum. Even ferrous sulfate also used as a coagulant. This alum and ferrous sulfate are the common coagulants. So this is about the primary treatment. So now we'll move towards secondary treatment. This secondary treatment, it is also called as activated sludge process. So this is what the So this activated sludge process, it involves extensive aeration of the sewage water and the process of aerobic oxidation by addition of activated sludge. As this process involves the oxidation of sewage using bacteria, that you can say the activated sludge, that is part of sludge is previously oxidized into the sewage water. Okay, so this activated sludge, it contains large number of aerobic bacteria and other microorganisms also. So in this process, sedimented sewage water is mixed with a proper quantity of activated sludge. Here you can see that is the waste water is passed, and here that is activated sludge, and this mixture is sent to the aeration tank in this case, and in which the mixture is aerated and agitated for several hours. During this process, Organic matter are oxidized in presence of these microorganisms. After this process is complete, the effluent is sent here. This effluent is sent. So this effluent is sent to the sedimentation tank where this sludge is deposited, and water will be free from the organic matter is drawn off. So this part of the settled sludge is sent back. We can observe here. So this is return sludge, we can see. So here we have passed this sludge return here. Okay. So this activated sludge process, this operates at a 90 to 95% efficiency of a BOD treatment. If the treated water contains high concentration of this phosphate or heavy metal ions like mercury and some of the heavy metals like copper, any metal ions, and colloidal impurities, and even non-degradable organic compounds, so this water is subjected to tertiary treatment. So this is a secondary treatment. This is very important for your final exams. It may be asked for 5, 6, 7 marks. So this is about the secondary treatment. So next is tertiary treatment. So in tertiary treatment, the aim of this tertiary treatment is further purification of wastewater as well as its recycling. The tertiary treatment, it consisting of removal of phosphate. You can observe here, see that calcium hydroxide is treating with a phosphate ion, and it forms calcium phosphate ion along with the formation of hydroxide ions. Here the phosphate are removed by adding calcium hydroxide. The fluorescent precipitate of calcium phosphate is formed. This is Ca3PO4 twice is calcium phosphate. It is formed at pH 10 to 11. That is nothing but in basic medium, you can say. And at this pH, ammonium salts are converted to ammonia. So this ammonium salt, whichever you can see here, NH4 plus, this can be converted into ammonia, that is NH3. Here you can see this NH4 is converting into NH3. So this is nothing but conversion of ammonium salts to ammonia. So now the next is coagulation and sedimentation. As I have already explained these terms, as the suspended fine particles are removed by sedimentation. In this process of coagulants, like already I have given alum and ferrous sulfate, those are the coagulants in this case. Even aluminum hydroxide or iron hydroxide are formed by these coagulants, which entraps the fine particles and help them to settle down. So the highly charged ions of the coagulant also neutralize the charges on colloidal particles and make them to coagulate and settle down. Like this, we can remove the impurities which are present in this sewage. Okay. So next is filtration. Filtration is very basic and a traditional method. The water is passed through the conventional sand filter beds to remove the last traces of this suspended matter. Even here, stripping of ammonia and other gases is done in a degasifier. This consisting of a large tower which is filled with a number of plates. Okay, this is about filtration. So next is disinfection. So here you are using chemicals which can be used to kill the destroying microorganisms. Is called disinfectants. The process of killing the microorganisms using chemicals are called as disinfections. Okay, so this is about the disinfection. So we can observe two reactions here. Here chlorine gas or chlorine, it is reacting with the water. Here chlorine gas is reacting with the water, and that is forming a hypochlorous acid. So this hypochlorous acid again it is dissociates to give this HCl, hydrochloric acid, along with that nascent oxygen. This atomic oxygen is called as nascent oxygen. Here this hypochlorous acid and nascent oxygens are powerful germicides, so which can be used to kill the germs. Okay, this is about the tertiary treatment. So this is all about the sewage treatment, primary, secondary and tertiary treatment. This is how we can treat the sewage. Thank you. So now we'll start with the sludge disposal. So how we are going to dispose this sludge. So sludge is disposed by burial at sea. So sludge is dumped at the places near the sea. This is how we are going to dispose. Second method is land spreading. In this case, this sludge is uniformly spread over the soil, and this is followed by plowing, and it acts as a fertilizer. After some period, you can use that sludge as a fertilizer. So next is septic tank treatment and sludge digestion. So in this process, the sludge is kept in a closed tank in the absence of air, that is we can say anaerobic. Here sludge is kept in closed tank in the absence of air for prolonged period like 30 days, even it may be more than 30 days. So this sludge undergoes anaerobic decomposition in presence of bacteria, which produces gases like methane. As it is anaerobic decomposition, here you can observe the release of some harmful gases like methane, H2S, hydrogen sulfide gas, even phosphine also, and some other extra gases also released. This gas can be used as a fuel for city supply, or sometimes it may be used for the power generation.